So I've really lucked out. A Veritas twin screw clamp came up on Facebook Marketplace at a really good price. As you can see, this is a used unit, and to sweeten the deal, it comes with a front vise jaw and a rear vise jaw already made by one of the previous owners. And on Veritas's website, they have the full manual available for free as a PDF. So I should be able to whip this thing back into shape and install it on my Husky adjustable height bench that I bought at the Home Depot. Those who follow my channel might be curious what I'm going to do with my Xylus vise. I'm going to keep it, but near the end of the video, I'll tell you the reasoning for getting another vise in addition to this one. Before I start assembling things, let's take a look at the parts. I can tell you these are high quality parts made of thick, heavy steel. The milling on the threads are just great, and all the components look good. I am missing a few pieces. One of them is a brass knob that's supposed to go here, which is the lever to release the shear pin. That gives the vise the ability to rack a little bit. So I just replaced it with this screw. This unit came with an extra shear pin because the shear pin also serves as a protection. So if you tighten it down too much, the shear pin will break, which prevents the rest of the system from becoming damaged. This is the nut that screws into the bench that the threaded rod goes into. Again, big beefy metal, nice machining. I also got the cover components. These parts seem to be nice cast steel, and this part seems to be a stamped sort of sheet metal, but again, very nice. It also comes with the two drive handles, and I got the chain and all the bits and pieces as well. The previous owner did already start to make the back and front jaw for this. It does have a lot of work already done to it. I think with a little bit of cleanup, I can actually reuse this. I had planned on making my own jaws, but with lumber prices the way they are today, I want to see if I can salvage these. So I'll be mounting the vise to this end of the bench, and with the position of the mounting holes here, I think I'll just be anchoring it through this steel plate here. These pins keep the workpiece from bottoming out on the screws. I'll hammer them in now and coat them with paste wax. I'll mount the screws next. The third thing that this used unit did not come with that a new unit would have is a little roller and a screw to keep the chain tensioned. So I'm going to cut off a section of this old plastic cup drink straw and just find a screw put in there. Looks like that much is all I need. I think that's going to work. Next, I'll mount the cover plate. Well, it looks like these screws are in the wrong spot, so I'm going to drill new holes. Okay, actually it looks like the screws are just a couple of millimeters too far apart to get this all the way on, and you can see where it was rubbing from the previous owner. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and make this hole a little bigger instead of trying to fight it over here. Almost looked like it shipped that way from the factory. Now I'm going to plane these surfaces even with the bench. I'm going to make 2 bench dogs out of this one piece. I'm making a dowel that'll fit in both this hole and this hole. According to the instructions, these pieces here and here should be vertical. Because I have a lot of twist this way, I'm going to rotate those the proper direction and see if it helps. Okay, I've re-drilled the holes and mounted the flush plates vertical per the instructions. I've also gone through the alignment process, put a little grease on the chain, put some grease on the screws per the instructions, and I'm ready to reinstall the cover. Okay, there's some bugs to work out, but so far this is working really well. And the vise is turning quite smoothly. Something like this, I could just as easily put in the vise this way. So far the vise is working out great. I put a couple laps in with the bench plane here, and it's really added a lot to my ability to work with hand tools. I am still having a little bit of a problem when getting a board clamped in here. It's really solid over here, but not so great here in the middle. As I plane or work on this, it just keeps going in. What I've figured out is that this back jaw is dished in the center by about 50 thousandths of an inch. So a board clamp like this is getting a really tight squeeze here on the ends, but not so tight in the middle. And looking at the hardware for the back jaw, the hardware is drilled in these 3 locations, which is really all in the middle. So I think that's why the middle is sucked in. So I'm going to add some additional bolts on each end to see if it will flatten out. I can actually see it flattening out as I crank down this screw. So that's a good sign. Okay, putting those 2 extra fasteners in here really made a big difference. Before I was measuring about 50 thousandths of an inch gap here in the middle, and after that I was only measuring around a 12 thousandth of an inch gap. So much, much better. Now I'm going to see how well it grips. Yeah, so very solid here. Things are working out pretty well. I've got the 2 bench dogs made for the vise holes here. I'm going to be face planing this piece of lumber. So this one's probably a little too thick, so I'll insert the skinnier one. I'm not going to drill any dog holes in the bench just yet. I'm going to use this board I made with some drawer liner taped to the back, and I'm just going to clamp it to the bench about where I need it. I'll tighten down the vise. Okay, the plane's not working so great, and the woodworker's not working so great, but the vise is perfect. So to plane the edge of this, bring it over here. Yeah, that's so much easier. This Husky adjustable height workbench has really been great. It's wonderful having the flexibility to change the height and move it around the garage. One of its downsides is it does have quite a lot of flex due to the mechanism that raises and lowers the unit. So in order to add a vise on one side or the other, it would really put this thing out of balance and cause it to tilt left and right. That's why I think the twin screw approach is perfect, because it balances the weight in the center of this shaft, and the screws themselves dodge that center post perfectly. As you can see, unlike some other vices where there's two posts and one screw in the middle, we just have the two screws on either side, which leaves the middle entirely open for inserting workpieces like this. I can insert this workpiece at any height between the screws. Now, of course, that does have a limit. At this width, it doesn't quite fit between the screws. So I think the twin screw approach here is really going to work out for this Husky bench. My Xylus vise has been great. I've been able to use it for all sorts of things. It's very versatile and very functional. It's particularly good at holding odd sizes or odd shaped pieces, especially when I'm trying to shape or smooth things with a file or sandpaper, or drill holes with a drill. But I've not had particularly good luck for holding work pieces while doing face planing or edge planing, or operations like resawing with a handsaw. It just doesn't seem to hold it well enough. And that's why I sought out another vise for my workbench. Well, the Veritas twin screw is working out pretty well on that Husky bench. As you can see, there's a little bit of wobble when I use the hand plane, and I do have some interesting ideas on how to brace that and also add storage beneath the bench. But that'll have to wait for another video. Well, that does it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.